Alright. Here we go.
Karajan must be close, but we still need to locate him.
Like I said, the original, the cutscenes at the beginning and the end are not that big anyway. Anyway, our objects for today are access the communication tower that have been detected, kill 6 of the courier's guards, and fill 5 dumpster with dispatch guards. Again, it's always neat, while they do spoil a bit what the level is going on, what level is gonna have, later on, it's always nice to check your set objectives right from the get-go, so you get basically an idea. The game will remind you at some point, specifically, if, they're relevant, something relevant is happening that is specific just for that occasion, so don't worry. Missing out on this is very hard, if you actually, pay attention to them.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let's see. Remember, if there are no lights, flashing on the place, the guards have only that kind of limited vision. So if I can potentially kill a guard, right almost at the other's feet, and he will not be able to see it.
I thought I heard the noise of one of my comrades being gutted.
No, that's the thing, Lives. If you perform, I didn't explain this. There you go. The assassination happens with a QTE. You hold the button and slide it to simulate the cutting of a throat. If it performed correctly, the kill will be completely silent. The victim has no chance in actually. Oh, no, dogs.
You can't kill dogs, can you?
Okay. Yes. But our protagonist makes it a point to not use his sword against them. He just puts them out with a hand chop to the neck.
Oh, so in that case, more like he just knocks them out, doesn't kill them.
Yeah, it's not even registered at that much as a kill apparently. Anyway,
I love how.
Go on.
I love how most video games pretty much agree that it is a mortal sin to murder a good old pupper.
I mean, unless it's Skyrim, I guess. Go on.
One thing they could have done to get people off their asses as well is have it so that he approaches the dog from behind, takes one of those, handkerchiefs with chloroform in it, just to put the dog asleep.
Well, again, I don't think that's. Yeah, that's another thing. Again, as your partner said, the dogs can actually spot you by sniffing your presence, so you need to watch out.
That is true. Yeah.
Anyway.
It's literally taking a smoke break.
Yeah, on the job, nonetheless. Some of them in the game, as you will see, are even gonna sleep on the job. So. There's that. Anyway, Dweebs, basically, again, if the performed kill is done correctly, it will be completely silent and the victim has no chance in actually alerting anyone else. However, if you fail the QTE, the victim will indeed instead scream and it will actually attract noise around them. So
basically, you need to be as efficient as possible with your kills or takedowns.
Basically. Again, it's not that hard, but you still need to pay attention to it. There is one of the styles, the more aggressive one, will automatically, resolve this particular QTE, but like I said, it has its kind of balance, so it forgoes, a lot of the don't get caught approach. So again, you need to decide what to do specifically.
Mm-hmm.
If you stay under the grates, the dog would not actually be able to sniff you, so it's a valid approach to take alternate routes if you see one of them.
I wish the lights would quit that weird flickering. Yeah, I keep seeing people in
Alright,
shadows.
let's see. Great, flickering lights. I guess now Uwe Ball is on the move on his own.
Beautiful.
Uwe Boll. Oh, you're speaking of Uwe Boll. One of his movies, In the Name of the King, at the time of recording, is available for me. But the problem is it's on Freevee. Meaning it's free, but I gotta watch adverts.
I mean, also that also begs the question, James. Is the regular cut or the extended cut? Believe me, there's a difference.
I don't know.
Let me put
He
it this
actually
way.
got an extended cut.
Let me put it this way in the simplest way possible, Dweebs. In the regular cut, the villain just gets arrested. In the extended one, the villain gets killed. So yeah, it is kind of important, if you ask me.
I'm guessing you prefer the extended cut?
Well, not just for that, but also for the fact that, you know, it actually has extended season, elaborates more. Like you said, the name of I don't have much experience with Dungeon Siege, so I cannot really tell how not faithful it is to the source material, which is Super Bowl, so I'm guessing not that much, you know. But to be fair, again, the all-star cast that they have, Jason Statham in the main role, then there's John Rhys Davies, Matt Lillard, for example, you know.
And flipping Burt Reynolds, too.
Yeah, again, that elevates it a bit, and the production design is a bit better than Blood Rain, so at the very least the costumes and wigs are more convincing, if you ask me.
Who would give Uwe Boll $60 million?
Well, the German taxpayers, for one change, lives.
Remember, Dibs, as soon as that tax break scheme of his fell through, he more or less stopped his career after that failed Kickstarter.
Alright, watch this. There you go.
Creative.
Again, because it's one of the upgrades that I purchased. Again, a valid strategy, if you see guards away but they're in couple, is to actually distract one of them with an actual dart, you know, purposely provoking them, you know, and then luring them into a trap, if you know you can actually take them out before they sound your alarm.
Can dogs attack you, or are they basically just glorified alarms?
Okay, I never, admittedly, I never tried, because I always either try to avoid them, you know, or take them out. But if I recall correctly, they just alert around, so there is that. I don't know if they actually can. I can imagine they probably have an attack animation like where they bite you or something, but I don't know. Again, I genuinely try to not, you know, get spotted or, you know, killed by the guards in this game. If I get to die, it's mostly because of environmental stuff, like the lasers. But you will not see that in this run.
I'm guessing this game is a case where, you know, as long as you know your stuff, you can clear it with relative ease.
Each stage takes from 20 to 60 minutes, depending on what you do and how much you know you screw up.
Wait, was that 60 or 16?
60. 60. I mean,
wow.
If I say 20 to 60, that means that kind of escalation, Jova.
Just was making sure, because, man, so some of these can take an hour to clear?
They're relatively big enough and divided in sections. Depends on also what you're supposed to do. Some of them definitely are shorter than others. But for example, this one alone takes 40 minutes roughly, and that's with me editing away all the fluff. That means like stuff like backtracking or, you know, or failed attempts, you know.
Surprises me, because that is admittedly pretty big for an indie game.
It's more of a case of, you know, it's the Doom approach, Drovat. Basically, the devs constructed the assets, you know, both for the actual gameplay and the backgrounds, you know, and then started constructing levels around them using said assets with only minimal, you know, new things added from time to time. So
yeah,
Go on.
I just had a look. Amazon's version is the theatrical one.
Anyway, the point, Jova, is that you know it was done simply to spare cost on the matter. You know, this game is still fresh, but it basically is kind of an illusion, where in reality, you know, it's done in a smarter way. Not necessarily, again, not for the worst, so don't take this as a negative thing, but, you know, it's more, of course not. It's more of a case of, you know, instead of wanting to focus on constructing the biggest set piece ever with each level, with the new top thing that's never get used again afterward, you know, the devs took a bit of an approach of a small escalation, but that is present nonetheless.
That is fair, and you know what, I mean, look, reusing assets that are in there is fine. This is one of those cases where I am perfectly fine with all the guards looking the same or whatnot, especially since one trick this game does have is that you won't be distracted by that a lot, because more often than not, stuff is shrouded in darkness, essentially. Like, now, obviously, they made color versions of everything for those bits where the lights shine through, but they did it cleverly enough in a way where, yeah, a lot of assets are reused, but you won't be focusing on that because, well, you won't be seeing it most of the time.
Basically, it's not like I completely screwed up, but, you know, I basically discovered that it's best if I leave the guard here, because I wanted to drag the body of the guard towards the other dumpster to continue filling in the side objective, but turns out I couldn't, so might as well, you know, do this instead. See, this is what I meant. You know, if I screw up and I get the quote-unquote imperfect kill, the guard will scream and it will produce a sound wave that will alert, you know, other guards nearby. Same goes if they start shooting for any reason, by the way. The other guards will say, I hear, you know, I hear shooting, stuff like that, or, you know, someone has found contact, and they will go to the place. So if for whatever reason a guard starts shooting, and there are reasons for them to do, even if they don't spot you, you know, you have to expect someone to come by.
Sounds on par with Metal Gear Solid.
That's another thing also introduced here, locked doors, and later on locked also vent shaft. They're not really that much of a complication, you know. Your character takes away the lock in just a few seconds, but it is that kind of frantic tension that it is an extra layer for you to actually take care of. And later on you can have an upgrade that allows the protagonist to, you know, unlock them in like 1 second tops, so, you know, they become almost a futility.
As long as he has a shield to hide behind.
Your enemy type, this more elite guard has a riot shield, has a flare, so if they get suspicious of something, they will fire a flare in the area, potentially, meaning that, you know, you will get illuminated, you know, even if you shut down the lights. And if I recall correctly, if you fail the QTE to assassinate them, they will actually retaliate instead of that being an imperfect kill. So watch out.
Boy. Already upping the ante quite a bit, so I'm guessing this means you have to take them out from behind, given the riot shield, obviously.
Well, in general, all the guards are best to be taken the stealth way from behind, you know, so there's not... Also, you notice that particular, you know, flashlight there, it has, you know, a grate covering it, meaning that you cannot take it out with your darts, so that is there to stay. One of the tools that you can unlock in the DLC mission, which you will see later on, allows you to obscure these specific lights as well, and even get an achievement for it. But don't think you can rely too much on that either.
I will say this, it's like, I reckon that it's a big deal with these guys because, you know, at least with other guys, if you really wanted to brute force your way through, you probably could take them out from the front. The thing is, like, with the riot shield guys now, you already have one direction you can't take them out on, even if you try, essentially, which means, again, you gotta mix up how you play. Be interesting if we get some that somehow have a way to cover both their backs and fronts, which means you actually do have to take them from the front.
Well,
that guy just seems... Well, that guy just seems to be chilling. I guess we can leave him be.
Especially because there's the light, so I cannot just open the door, you know, and not get spotted. But at the same time, there's also, you know, the small area, so I cannot, you know, I have to watch out and actually try to get around him. So first of all, let's take out this guy. There you go.
I like to imagine him just yanking him right through the steel platform. Like, I know he's probably just pulling him around, but still, with how it looks.
There you go.
Also,
that's what you get for sleeping on the job.
I love it. We basically treated him like a dance partner, like spinning him around in fancy fashion before stabbing him.
And there you go. But it's better if I still kill at least one of these guys because there is a dumpster truck. There you go.
Extra points for hiding the body. Yeah.
You still... Well, not just that, you also get, you have to add that side objective to fulfill. You also get an achievement if you hide yourself in one of those, you know, dumpster, you know, kinds, and make a stealth kill from there. So there's that too. And no, you cannot just use a new body to try to get the side objective. I tried.
Figures. So, if fulfilling these side objectives, do they help, like, unlock a true ending or something?
No, I already mentioned it in the previous part what they do. Anyway, new challenge, if I recall correctly, in this case, it's, yeah. you have to move, in tandem with these particular lasers and watch it specifically what obstacles actually do block them, because remember, these are some of the insta-kill laser, and at the same time, you have to use the levers to actually open the room in the center, which has the classic dilemma of three pillars that get covered, and like one lever raises one and lowers another, so you need to find the right combination that, manages to, raise all three of them.
You can tell these lasers are lethal because they leave sparks where they mark.
However, on top, you can see two tablet pads, that you can use to actually disable the lasers. So this is actually, if you manage to actually get on top, this is actually one of the easiest missions, because you basically remove all the challenge, all the dangers of a room. And you're not required to have the lasers functioning in order to properly resolve the room.
Anyway, I recall that you had already mentioned what those challenges did, but I was wondering if they also had the added benefit of unlocking a secret ending, because in a lot of indie games like this, you got your secret endings locked behind, hey, collect this one thing, run through the game, or do this extra secret mission. Okay. Actually, along that topic, is there a secret ending, or is it pretty much just you fulfill the game and that's it?
Well, again, technically it's multiple endings, but you will see just, how easy it is to get all of them.
Got it.
Alright, new scroll.
Drunken, laughing guards spill outside with joy to meet the eyeless faces.
Yeah, okay, honestly, the sound quality makes it sound like the guy was speaking into his headset microphone.
Canadian voiceover waves, so I can imagine maybe the quality of the equipment might not have been super optimal.
I've heard Canadian voice acting on a lot of things. It didn't sound this muffled.
I'm curious, did they get well-knowns, or is this mainly just they may have just had their own folk?
I mentioned this in the first part. They got some people from the Ocean Group. I mentioned the ones that I know. For example, there's DBZ Chichi from the Ocean Group is in this. There you go. This is on one of your upgrade stations. You normally can do that before each level. I just don't show it normally. But the sprinkle throughout, you might get at least one or two of them. And you use the points that you acquire by fulfilling the side objectives and collecting the scrolls. There you go. And you can collect, as you unlock them with each level, new types of killing, new distraction items, and new attack items.
So I guess in regards to the voice acting, they had... Well, they certainly had actors. I'm not going to dog on the Ocean Group, but, sadly
this
a lot
is
of
technically fine for this game, I can tell you that.
Yeah. No. I know. I think it's fine. It's just, I'm wondering if in terms of, the recording quality, if it was just a case where, being an indie team, there was only so much they could do, especially if they were prioritizing the visuals and the functionality of the game.
The Ocean dub of Dragon Ball Z, for all its problems, does not have bad quality audio. So,
well, to be fair, that one's officially funded. This is an indie game.
Okay, then.
Alright, here we go.
Well, I guess that makes sense, because remember, if you go back to... Well, okay, because the King's Quest 2 fan remake that we played a few years ago, that one justifies it, the fact that it's a fan-made game with no commercials and not selling it. It's free, right? Come by. So you can easily, yes, the woman playing the shopkeeper clearly is recording her lines with a cheap microphone, but you give it leeway because of the circumstances with that game. It's a fan game. And remember, back in 2002, for that matter, back in the time where fan games were basically a complete new thing.
Correctly, that fan game is so big that to this day, some people consider it the canon take on King's Quest 2.
No, it's not. The original games are.
No. I said some people consider it, not that it actually is the canon one.
It is not. I mean, okay. It technically could perfectly work, because remember, they're foreshadowing the Black Cloak Society that's mentioned in King's Quest 6. So yes, technically it could fit in the canon just fine. It's just, no, that works for me as well, because I actually think King's Quest 2 fan remake is much better than the original game anyway. It's not even just because of the quality of improvements. The story is much better because the King's Quest 2, even in comparison to King's Quest 1, the original game, I mean, doesn't make any sense. Like, the original King's Quest game was very simple. Okay, get these treasures so you can make our kingdom rich again, and you'll be king again. There you go. Simple, straightforward. And you just get those free chests in a very traditional fairy tale way, and it works. King's Quest 2, on the other hand, has a lot of weird plot points that seem to come out of nowhere and leave just as abruptly. Like, for example, you have to kill the Count Dracula, and like whereas in the remake they expanded it into a complete storyline involving the Count's family and the tragedy that how they became vampires. So it's just an objectively better game.
Your wedding at the end of that game too.
Yeah, exactly. It's just an. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, King's Quest 2 is a legendary game in the point-and-click adventure game genre. I'm not saying it isn't, but if you just look at both games objectively, the remake is such an objectively better game in every way. So.
But anyway, to bring it back to the original point, me personally, I feel like the voice acting is just fine for this game, quality and the performance whatsoever.
It needs to, what I was saying just is my point. This game, on the other hand, how much does this cost to?
$20 at most, if I recall correctly.
I'll check. This one, considering it's $20, you do like it's a bit more fair to criticize bad voice acting.
For reference, if you had the original, you can upgrade to the remaster with a $5, bill in total. So you still need to spend, but it's not that much.
Sure.
So it's one of those cases where the original was $5, but the remaster is $20.
Well, no, the original was also around the same price, if I recall correctly.
No. What he meant, Joe, is that if you already have the original version of this game, you can upgrade to this new super duper awesome version for only $5.
And like I said, it's not a case like PS4 games, having to be upgraded for the PS5 hardware. So there is that.
Again, honestly, for $20 even, this seems like a good enough value. So the original was $15.
I don't remember if there was also a demo available, but at the very least there was enough coverage for people to know what they were getting into. It's not a complete blind, purchase. Oh. And Steam has a good way to actually advertise the game with trailers, and proper screenshots. Also, that guy is leaping on the job. Holy shit!
I'm looking at the...
Maybe we should leave him. Never mind.
No sleeping on the job.
I'm looking at the Steam
page on the
right
job,
now.
you die.
It's actually €16.79 with the remastered upgrade being only $3.99.
Okay.
That might...
Basically, remember, Dweebs, it's just a case, it's the middle of the night, you might be sleeping on the job and you get shanked on the street. The true British experience.
Good lord.
Oh yeah.
Smoke break and these guys are chatting.
Alright, if I recall correctly, I'm gonna use these to actually perform one of the new kills that I have acquired that is actually my favorite, if I remember correctly. Otherwise, you'll still see it in one of the future parts otherwise. I cannot actually attract them onto that direction, however. I was just considering because there's a body there, and if a guard spots a body, if you forgot, they will raise the alarm. So you cannot get the luxury if you don't kill them in time.
I'm curious, in regards to raising the alarm, I presume that brings other soldiers to go... Whoa!
We pull a bit of a Spider-Man there. Again, and by the way, it leaves the corpse there, and if a guard spots it, there's a good chance they will actually get scared by that, well, for a very obvious reasons, and they will get in a panic state, which you can take advantage of.
Did they not raise the alarm in that panic state?
But they might start shooting around, which can, like I said, can potentially attract other guards.
So, in regards to them raising the alarm, I assume that brings other guards to the location, correct?
Yes, and it also activates a counter similar to the one of Metal Gear. You have to wait until it cools down in order for it to to return to the state. But as a reminder, in most of the levels, one of the side objectives is to try not to get caught. So it's best if you never try to be spotted. Like I said, reloading the checkpoint actually resets this, so you're good to go technically on that front.
All right, then. Segue to my next question: are guards finite, or
Yes,
can they
sir.
replenish?
They only get
Okay.
replenished as the story demands. So there might be a case where the room gets refilled, but there's a story reason to it, and the game tells you or shows you that happening.
So let's say the alarm gets raised, but most of the guards have been killed by
Oh,
you.
shit.
Is there a chance in the? Ah, cool.
Yeah. Keep in mind, remember, also at the end of each level, there is a tally on all of the guards of a level, and the game tells which one you actually, spared, which one did not even notice you, and which one you did killed. So, and that includes also the dogs, by the way.
I'm curious. Does the game like reward? Well, yeah.
Yes, they give you
Yeah,
points.
true.
You'll be able to see also at the end of this.
And true, you already did mention that there's a special mark for managing to clear a stage without killing
Yes,
anyone.
the ghost, type of, challenge.
Do they have a name for if you like annihilate everything in your path?
No, not really. It just gets added to the tally on its own. I mean, it just gives you more points for the people that you kill. If I recall correctly, I'm actually about to. Actually, no, there you go. The dog basically is an example of that, Drova. The dog, alerts but sees there are no guards around. The alarms cannot be raised. So let's put the pooch to sleep. It's even called the hound slumber.
Aww. Well, hopefully he survived that drop, but otherwise, aww. but yeah, no. So would you say that this game rewards you for going a more stealthy approach without killing, or
Yes,
is it
but
just...
again, you have to earn that. It's not
Well-
to be fair, again, to answer Jova's question, Pedro, it's more easy to just potentially do the Dweeb's approach and kill everyone in the level. Yes. Anyway, new tool was a good ninja without these a set of smoke bombs. So. However, you can easily think these are for the usual trick of a getaway, so long suckers. But while you can pull that potentially, they're mostly reserved for blocking the lasers. Believe it or not. Again, you can also use them on the guards, if you want, but they're more convenient for this specific case. There we go.
I don't kill everyone in the level all the time.
That's something that someone who kills all people in the level will say.
Hey, I didn't say I never did it, just not all the time.
Alright, so now we're like in Assassin's Creed, we need to tally this guy. This is possibly one of the most tedious parts of the entire game. You have to follow this guy around through the entire level, making sure that you don't actually lose sight of him, and making sure that you cannot kill him, because otherwise, it's over, because it's leading you, this guy is leading you to a tracking device where you need to actually get your hands up. But the side objective also says that I'm supposed to kill 6 people during this sequence. So it's a bit stressful, that's what I'm saying. Doesn't help that the guy looks like a beefed up Shaggy if you actually get to see him in the light.
Goodness.
They got me imagining Shaggy with a stereotypically big muscle guy deep voice.
Kinda happened in Scooby-Doo Monsters Unleashed.
You, come with me.
I can't imagine Matthew Lillard doing a big, deep, intimidating voice.
That's what filters are used for, Dweebs.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, they either had him deepen his voice for that, or they used a voice filter for that.
Yeah, as you can
Thank you,
imagine,
James Gunn.
As you can imagine, this action is one where, you can and you will fail multiple times trying to get both the side objective and the regular one done. But don't worry, I will showcase it properly.
Because you're a pro at this.
Well, no, but, at the very least on a normal level,
if you wanted to make sure the guard couldn't scream, could you just stab him through the neck?
That's what he's doing, Dweebs, if you notice the
It's like
animation.
he's stabbing him through the heart first.
Sometimes it's through the heart, sometimes through the heart, but, at least one of the slices makes sure to go through the neck. So yes, at the very least there is that.
You mentioned that, sometimes you have to do analog motions for certain kills. Like, Does the game prep you for when you're going to be doing those sort of kills, since
Well, it
you
gives you
mentioned that they kind of cycle?
No, remember, they only have a variation in relation that the motion specifically has a variation in relation where you are. If you're performing a kill from above, of course it would be either up or down. And instead, if you're on the side-scrolling section, it would be obviously either left or right. So again, it's nothing too complex. The QTEs in these are not like that complex. So it's just a matter of, reading the timing. And as you can see, it's relatively generous what they do. Go away. You also noticed that circle around the question mark when an enemy spots you. That usually is the time, it corresponds to the timing that they have until they give up and they say, must have been the wind, I guess. So that's also your cue. You can still observe the enemies, but even if you're like in another room and you don't notice that, there you go. You still can actually listen to what they're saying and use that as your cue, This is one of those games where all your senses need to be focused entirely on the game. This is not, free time material that you play while, listening to a podcast or something.
I get it. You definitely want to mind all your surroundings with all your senses.
Huh? The light's broken.
Very odd. But I shouldn't be too suspicious, I suppose.
Yeah, those light bulbs explode all the time. After all,
Basically.
That would be funny if they are legit used to the lights breaking at this point.
Well, remember, the previous mission was about for us to sabotage the generator of the electricity, so there was technically also that, and also these guards, are part of a, generic electronic company, I think. I don't think it's ever explained, what Karajan's company specializes in, so you can treat it basically like the Shinra grunts. And again, our protagonist is not exactly the most, morally very clear type, so the game is not even pretending that he's a saint cleaning the world from evil or something.
Wow, someone who kills people for a living isn't a saint. Who knew?
Well, no, our ninja is not even a mercenary for that matter. This is about revenge. These guys attacked our clan, we need to pay.
We'll have to find another way around.
Alright, since there are 2 elite guards, I need also to take out the light, or I could just ignore them if I want.
But that's not what we want, is it?
Well, depends, maybe it's for the better.
The side mission, Tio, the side mission.
The side mission does not make me have to kill everyone in the room, remember.
Alright, just a certain allotment. Oh! That opened up that.
Yeah, remember, the three objectives for this were to dump people in the dumpster, get to a specific point without getting spotted, and to kill 6 of the courier's guards, which I basically fulfilled all of them. So.
I wonder, what was the point of putting the sensor laser down there? Like, sure, it'll probably alert them, but none would be in your immediate vicinity at that point.
I don't know what to tell you.
Hold on. Did you hear something?
It's also worth noting, remember,
no,
that
I didn't hear it.
the sensors actually get distracted by the guards. Sorry, it's also worth noting that the sensors, get deactivated when a guard is nearby. So, it also has that kind of advantage or disadvantage. Maybe a sensor is there, underground or above, but if a guard passes, that is relatively near, like in above or in a below room, the sensor will still be deactivated, so you can, play that to your advantage.
Hmm. If only there were... There we go.
Yeah. You can also potentially stuff the body in that door that you see on the right. That is one of your hiding spots, but since there is a door that covers it, you can potentially hide a body in there.
Nice.
Huh? I heard something. Who broke the light?
I don't remember what that button actually did, so... Alright, we just need to wait for this guard to come down so we can actually properly kill the killer. There we go. And also another thing, always remember to drop the guards in or even away from the dogs, because they can also sniff if there is a dead body, even if there is a total darkness. So.
Makes sense.
Oh yeah, that is true. The dogs can actually attack. My bad.
Here you go.
Alright, now we can actually move forward. We're almost at the end of the level.
Mm-hmm.
Again, one of the cool things about it is that you can potentially fulfill all the side objectives way before the level is over. And again, even if you miss them, you can replay every single level from, from the main menu anyway. So even if you miss something, you can just, replay everything and get what you missed. And the stuff that you collect already will be still there, counted properly.
Now, you can just kill him and take the device.
In case you're wondering about pickpocketing, when you're close to a guard, specifically for this case, you cannot do it for everything, mind you. You can press the right mouse button instead of the left, and using the same type of QT with a swipe maneuver, you can potentially steal something that is in the possession that you need it. Again, you cannot do it on every single guard because, there is no incentive for you to do it. But otherwise, there we go.
Lovely.
So I'm looking at the developer's Steam page. They have quite the diverse catalog here.
Like I said, the most that people know them these days is Don't Starve and Oxygen Not Included.
Mm-hmm. They have a game coming out apparently called Beastie Ball. Coach a sports team of beasties in this turn-based volleyball RPG.
I think there's also another one that is like a beat 'em up or something, but I don't remember the details. Anyway, for this last sequence you basically need to run because the alarm is automatically raised for this, so the guards can still properly spot you, but they're just in high alert. And now we also need to drop the elevator so we can move on from the central shaft. You can tell when a guard is super alerted because even in the shadows, their face has a more of a scowl more than a more tranquil look.
But plus the alarm's going off.
That too. As you can hear, also the music actually gets a bit more frantic. Again, the music uses the same type of composition mostly throughout, but it has the way of being dynamic to represent each different stages of a level. So there is that. There we go.
Ah, that's what that button does.
Yeah, well, for this specific occasion, it's for the elevator. You can also use the run button, there you go, on even surfaces. Your character literally runs in vertical, don't ask, but again, it will still also, do noise and potentially attract people, so don't... Again, the best course of action for this game is to minimize your running, And inside there's the first scroll of the level. These I will not manage to get all of them, unfortunately, but like I said, I get only basically what
A
you need
thick
to know
liquid
for the story as a whole. They tend to expand basically that.
Above a pillow.
Okay then.
Would have been funny if they had the whole thing read gently while the alert's going on in the actual scene. Bit of vocal dissonance there. Ooh.
Yeah, remember, if you see a fuse box, there's a good chance, you know, you're able to deactivate the lasers that are nearby. And these one on the bottom are just there for show, I guess. For the sake of not giving you, you know, the idea to actually go down there. Oh well, wasn't intentional anyway.
Yeah, I was like, at first I thought there's multiple ways out, but nope, this
Not
is
for these
clearly the way.
occasions. Again, like I said, there are multiple ways to approach the target, but a lot of times, you know, the level is still, you know, going through one specific direction. So either way, you'll always get around the same, you know, objective, just maybe in a different way.
Come on, boys. There's only one guy.
He's a man, not a god. Alright, now when we have the tracking device, we should be able to
Nothing
find
can
Karajan
prevent us.
very much more easily. Don't ask me why he has a tracking device. I guess he's like the villain from Spawn, the Martin Sheen character.
I forbid this all will be an elaborate trap that he's setting up for us.
Well, Karajan is the kind of guy that thinks if you surround yourself with 5,000 guard, you're basically good to go, which, as you can imagine, is not very optimal. Anyway, tune in for the next part, where we see if we can manage to track him down better. See ya.
See ya.
Hey.